Hey guys, it's Ashley. Today I am here with a video that is not a topic usually discussed on BookTube, at least not that I've come across. But that's okay because this is my channel. I want you guys to know what I read, what I have an interest in. So today we're talking about human trafficking and social justice. When it comes to activism efforts, everybody has their own issue that they're passionate about. Whether it's saving animals or saving babies or fighting cancer or whatever it is, we all have different things. For a long time mine has been missions and social justice, and it has become focused more so on human trafficking. All of the other issues that fall under social justice, things like ending poverty, ending hunger, ending homelessness, giving home to orphans, helping the widows and the needy, all of those kinds of things I'm still very much passionate about. I still support causes that work with those things. They're still on my radar. I still take part in activities for those. But human trafficking is one of those things that it shocked me when I learned about it, and it's just something that I have to take action in. I think if you've ever had an issue like that, you kind of know what I'm talking about. It's something that just comes out of left field, you hear about it, and then you can't not do something about it. And so for me, that was human trafficking. A number of years ago, I was at Soulfest, which is a Christian music festival here in New England. It was sponsored by this group called Not For Sale, and I kind of wandered into their tent by accident and heard the staggering statistics that there were still 27 million people enslaved in the world today. And up till that point, I knew slavery existed, but I kind of thought it was more localized cases, just like here and there, just crazy people taking other people as their slaves. I didn't think it was such a big thing, when in actuality, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Around the world, the only thing that makes more money than human trafficking is the drug trade, and that is quickly changing because traffickers are realizing that a drug can be sold and make them money, but once it's sold, it's gone. It can't be used again. Whereas with people, they can sell them over and over and over, and it's kind of not an unending supply of money for them, but close to it. As long as that human stays alive, they can make money off of them. And it's just despicable to me. So several years ago, I heard that this was still going on. I was absolutely shocked. I remember spending the rest of that weekend in kind of a daze thinking, slavery still exists? What is this even talking about? 27 million people in the world today are still enslaved. That's sex slavery, forced labor, anything you can imagine. People are forced to do it for no money and in unsafe conditions. 27 million people. That is more slaves at this one moment in time than at any other time in history, including all of the years of slavery before Lincoln and Wilberforce and those kinds of people took action and eradicated slavery. So we thought. There are more slaves in the world today than during that entire period in history. So this is a big deal. This is something we need to talk about and something we need to face and deal with. So when I came home from that weekend, I did what I always do when I want to know more about an issue. I went online and I ordered a book. That book was Stop the Traffic by Steve Chalk. I didn't know these people. I didn't realize it at the time, but this book is based in the UK. So a lot of their figures are based in the UK, but it's still large numbers. Like when you start looking into slavery, there's just so many facts and so many numbers and so many faces involved in this issue. And so I got this. It's a very short book. It's got pictures. It's got facts. It's a very quick read. I'm not going to say it's an easy read because it's not. It has stories of slavery and numbers that will blow your mind. But I sat on my couch and I read this in one Saturday afternoon, and I just sat there kind of numb and stunned and in tears thinking, oh my God, how can this be happening in the 21st century? How can we still be taking other humans and treating them like they're so much less than we are? I was just completely shocked. And so I started doing more research about it, started looking into organizations that were working to fight human trafficking. And Not For Sale was the organization that was at the festival. So I picked up their book, and this book took me a long time to get through. Not because it's hard to read. The language is very simple, but because of the issues it's talking about. This is a book by David Batstone, who is the founder of Not For Sale. It contains his journey of how he first found out about human trafficking, which is one of his favorite restaurants closed down because all of the waitresses had been trafficked and were forced to work at this restaurant, and he was just shocked because he had no idea. He didn't understand how something so big and so horrible could be going on right under his nose, and he didn't even know. So he set out and he traveled around the world learning about human trafficking and seeing what could he do to make a difference. And so Not For Sale is now one of the biggest organizations in the world today working to end human trafficking. They are fantastic. A few months after I heard about this issue and heard about them, I actually went off to their global summit because I was just so concerned about this issue and I didn't know what else to do. So I said, you know what, guys, I'm taking off by myself to go across the country to this conference on human trafficking. And it was eye-opening and totally life-changing. I've changed the way I shop and the way I support organizations because of things that I learned at that conference. For example, I've made the decision that I don't eat chocolate unless it's fair trade because of the staggering numbers of child forced labor, not just forced labor, but child forced labor that is involved in the harvesting and production of cocoa. It was something that I could not stomach. Literally, I had a half-eaten chocolate bar in my bag when I read about it, or when I heard about it, and I couldn't finish it. It made me sick to my stomach. So Not for Sale is a great start if you're looking for more information on human trafficking. I highly recommend this book. The next several books I have are not specific to human trafficking. They are just broad social justice books, but they are highly recommended by myself. These are some of the best books that I have read on the issue, and so I want to share them with you. First up is When Helping Hurts by Steve Corbett and Brian Ficker. This book is fantastic. Anybody who is involved in advocacy or missions needs to read this book. This is a Christian book, but from what I remember, it's not super religious. They talk very much about the way we do missions and the way we go about helping people a lot of times causes more problems. For example, when we go into a disaster situation, our habit is to be the white savior. I don't mean it just in certain parts of the world, but all over the place. Even in the US, we go in as kind of, yes, we are here to save you from your problems, and we give them things and we build new things, but then we take off. And we haven't really helped them at all. We've just given them things. We haven't helped fix their infrastructure. We haven't made any lasting change. And so this book does a really good job of changing the way we think about short-term missions and relief efforts, and that it really needs to be a partnership. We need to partner with the people that we're trying to help, see what do they need, what do they think the issues are, what would they like us to help with, and empowering them to do it. We can't just go in there and take over and be the savior, because then when we take off, it's all going to crumble again. So this book is just fantastic. I highly, highly, highly recommend this. This has changed the way I look at missions work, which again, as I said, missions has been something that I have been passionate about since I was 14 years old and went on my first trip. And this has just changed the way I look at things. It's made me realize that a lot of the things I've done really weren't helpful. It's transformed the way I approach missions projects. And okay, what is this? What are you doing? What are you going for? Okay, now I'll give you my money and support this effort because I think this is really going to make change, versus, yeah, I'm not so crazy about this, I'm going to put my money elsewhere. The tagline on this book is really great. It's how to alleviate poverty without hurting the poor and yourself, because I think we do a lot of damage to ourselves too when we're just going in and being the savior. It's just kind of like we make ourselves feel good, but we haven't actually made a difference. I cannot say enough good about this book. You should read it. Read it. Read it. Read it. Next up is Pursuing Justice by Ken Weitzma. Ken is the founder of the Justice Conference. Ken and his organization come at combating human trafficking and justice issues in a totally different way than Not for Sale. Not for Sale is very hands-on. I really enjoy them. Ken approaches justice issues from a very academic standpoint. I described this book in my online review on my blog as academic but accessible. He puts a lot of history into it, a lot of numbers, whereas books like Not for Sale and When Helping Hurts typically take a more hands-on approach. He's more academic, but it was still a really good book. He does a good job of balancing the concepts of justice and grace and talking about the way that Jesus would approach these issues. If Jesus was on the earth today, how would he deal with social justice? How would he deal with human trafficking? How would he deal with the homeless problem? Kind of challenging us as Christians to really look at that, think about it critically, and then use that to take action. So this is a really good book as well. Next up is another Christian book about this, and that is The Just Church by Jim Martin. I loved this book. Everything that pursuing justice is, this is the handbook of how to do it. This gives you very practical steps of how to take your church from a church that lives in the community and is concerned about these issues to a church that is taking action. I mean, it outlines everything about how to research what's happening in your area, how to partner with local law enforcement, everything. It is outlined in this book. So if you are a church leader, you attend a church and want your church to be involved in justice matters, you need to pick up this book because it even tells you how to talk to your pastor about these issues. This is just a fantastic book. I can't say it enough. Next up, I have two books for young people who are interested in taking action about things in the world. The first is Be the Change by Zach Hunter. Zach is known for starting the Amazing Change campaign. He had watched as a young person the movie Amazing Grace, which I recommend if you're interested in slavery and anti-slavery movements. At 14 or 15, he saw that movie and decided he needed to make a difference, and so he started the Amazing Change campaign, where he set out to collect pennies and raised thousands of dollars toward modern-day anti-trafficking efforts. And so he's written a series of books. This one is really good, really quick handbook for teens on how to make a difference in the world, not just in human trafficking, but in all sorts of justice issues. So if you're young, you should read this. Even if you're not young, it's still a good read. The other is Do Hard Things by Alex and Brett Harris. If you are Christian and you grew up in the early 2000s, you will recognize the name Harris because their big brother Josh is the Josh Harris who wrote I Kissed Dating Goodbye, and we all knew. We all know I Kiss Dating Goodbye. Anyway, Alex and Brett wrote this book, Do Hard Things, to encourage teenagers to get out there and do hard things, to not waste their teen years. It's kind of an action call that says, you know, teens have this special time of their life where they can go out and do great things for the world, for other people. It's full with stories of their own life and people that they know. Great reads. Both of these excellent reads about justice for young people. So apparently my camera stopped filming in the middle of a sentence for this video, and so now it's Saturday morning and I went to edit it and I'm missing the whole ending of the video. So you get Saturday morning Ashley to finish this, which isn't as exciting as Friday morning Ashley. I really liked this ending that I had recorded yesterday. It was really well done, and now it's not going to be as well done. So I apologize. Stupid camera. This is an issue that is close to my heart, something I'm very passionate about, and I would love to talk with you about it. If you would like more information, please check out Polaris Project. I'll link it down below. But Polaris Project is an organization that compiles all of the statistics and things, and so on their website they have all sorts of fact sheets about human trafficking and some other social justice issues, but mainly human trafficking. They also have links to all sorts of organizations that are working to combat human trafficking. They are just a really great resource. Along with that, if you have a smartphone, which who doesn't these days, go ahead and download the Free to Work app. It's put out by Not for Sale. Basically, when you go shopping, you can scan the barcode of an item you want to buy, and it will tell you a rating score on a scale from A to F. A being that company has really good moral practices, they are transparent in their supply chain. A is great. F means there's either known slave labor involved, they're not transparent at all, there's shady things going on. Every rating, it tells you what it means and why they got that grade. It's a great app. It is free. They also have a website. If you don't have a smartphone, you can go onto freetowork, I think it's .com. Again, I will link all of these down below. Other organizations that you can definitely look into, I've already mentioned Not for Sale a couple times. I'll link them down below. Check out Zoe International. They are a Christian organization. They work with children who have been trafficked or who are at a high risk of being trafficked. I have a friend who's a missionary there, so I know that they're a good, trusted organization to invest in. Also, check out Exodus Road. They also have a book that I didn't mention because I only have it in ebook form and totally forgot. But Exodus Road is a fairly new organization. They've been around a few years, although the people running it have been missionaries in Thailand for many years prior to starting this organization. Just a great organization, grassroots movement. They go into brothels, do investigative work, and help with the rescue. So they are just really cool people. And they also have a, like one of those things where you text into the number and then they'll send you updates. I know that's like a popular thing. I don't know if it has a name, but they have that. You can text their number and get put onto their list. And I love that so much because I'll be at work, I'll be at church, I'll be out shopping, and I'll get a text message that says 3 girls were just rescued from a brothel in India. It's just so exciting to know that the money that you're investing in this organization is being put to good use and you're seeing results as they happen. They are just a great organization. Also, check out IJM, International Justice Mission. They are really big into the political side of it. They talk to lawmakers and get things changed that way, not just in the US, but in other countries as well. They do a lot of different events. I went with them a couple years back to their advocate training weekend where you go and they train you how to lobby, and then you go and meet with your lawmakers on Capitol Hill in DC, talk to them about these human trafficking issues and make sure that it's something that they know about and are educated on. And it was just a really cool experience, something I never thought I would do, something I still to this day can't believe that I actually did, and went to Capitol Hill and met with like John Kerry's people and all of them and talked with them about human trafficking. It was just a really cool experience. Highly recommended. There are just a lot of different organizations that are working towards ending human trafficking and other social justice issues. Again, this video is mostly about human trafficking because that's the issue that is closest to my heart, but I still appreciate all these other social justice issues. So if you'd like more information on these social justice issues, leave me a comment down below. I'd be happy to make other videos about homelessness or poverty or whatever if you guys are interested in it. Yeah, let's do it. So if you have any questions about human trafficking in particular, you'd like to hear more about other issues, leave me a comment down below. I would love to start a discussion with you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different than usual booktube stuff, but I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you later. Bye!